Blencowe. Apologies. Our first question comes from the line of Jay Anderson. Jay, your line is now live.
Hey, thanks very much. And Arlene, welcome back. Congratulations on the opportunity. And I got to start with the obvious. I mean, so many fighters have tried and failed against Cris Cyborg. What's the key to you being successful where those others have failed?
So many people have tried and failed, but not all of them. I feel like there's obviously things that have been exposed in more recent times. Hopefully I can also expose them.
So, didn't you take a look at that Nunes fight as a blueprint? Do you feel that that maybe also shattered the mystique that Cyborg had in the featherweight division?
Oh, definitely. At the end of the day, she's human. She's very, like, she is beatable. But yeah, no, in saying that, like, going back to the Nunes fight, like, when you watch it, it really could have gone one of two ways. They were both swinging, and all it would have taken was for one of Cyborg's punches to land on Amanda. So yeah, it really is a shame that a rematch wasn't like happened between the two of those. I think that would have been an interesting fight, but it did show that she was beatable. Something that no one else has done. So yeah, I take definitely comfort in that. But I always said that that was a way to beat her, was just to put it back on her, I guess. So it'll be exciting on Thursday.
The last one for me, I mean, preparing for a title fight is a tough job at the best of times. We're not in the best of times. We're in a pandemic. We've seen all sorts of restrictions in terms of social distancing and closures, everything else. What has camp been like for you for this fight?
We've been lucky. There was a period there where, like, all the gyms were closed in Australia, which meant that we couldn't go to our gyms and do our training session. As I just said in another interview, I am lucky that I've got a set up at home, which allowed me to keep training. But I've been able to, like, it's been a good 3 months now that the gyms have been open back up, so all's been back to normal for me, in a sense. So I've had a very, very solid camp. It took on a lot of help from other gyms, and had more training partners come on board. And yeah, I was pushed very, very hard this fight camp.
Donna?
Arlene, I'll admit I'm guilty of this as well, but on this media call with Cris earlier, there have been a lot of questions about other people, Katie Taylor, Amanda Nunes, not a huge amount about Arlene Blencowe. Do you feel you're being overlooked in this fight?
I'm kind of glad that I am being overlooked, really, because it's making all the odds back at home for people that are putting money on me. I know that the odds are against me, but all the greatest success that I've had in my life, in my fight career, has come from me being an underdog. And us Aussies are known to be battlers, and we strive, we thrive, I should say, as underdogs. And I think I'm going to shock the world on Thursday night.
You mentioned Aussies being fighters, and of course there's a lot going on in Australia at the moment with these lockdowns and everything else. Was there a chance maybe that this fight wasn't going to happen, or that you would have to do it in some other place, or was it easy enough for you to get to the States for this?
I was lucky. I mean, we had to do, like, apply for travel exemptions and that, and I feel very, very I am very, very grateful that, obviously I was granted them, because, there's a lot of people, and yeah, the world is a crazy place at the moment, and people have been denied travel rights to, attend funerals and bigger things in life. And I feel like, obviously fighting for a world title is a very, very big thing, and it's a big thing in my life. But, not to be able to do travel at the moment for a funeral, that to me is, a lot worse. So yeah, no, grateful. I am also thinking that the fight this year being allowed to happen is awesome too, because I thought this year was just going to be a complete write-off. That 2020 was just going to be a year of growth and training, and that when the world goes back to normal, or what form of normal will be, next year would happen. But yeah, stoked that it's happening this year.
Gareth?
Good evening, Arlene. London calling. Hi. I was with Leah McCourt, the Bellator featherweight, on Saturday night in Paris at the event, and we both feel this is that, and Leah, I'll use Leah's words, that Arlene really needs to impose herself early in the fight as well. And you are a very imposing person and fighter. Yeah. Is that really important, that you get Cyborg's respect early in the fight?
Definitely. And as I said in another interview, she senses fear, and she feeds on and thrives off that. So if she sees that I'm on the back foot, or in danger, or she can smell fear on me, she's gonna jump on that. And yeah, I guess she's also got a point to prove too. This is her first title defense, so she's going to want to get in there and get the job done like probably pretty early too. It's a 5-round fight. I know that as the rounds go on, she will start to wear. So it's very very important that I state my dominance in that fight early on.
And is it important in another way? Obviously, your ring sobriquet or your cage sobriquet, anger fist. We know what that means. That we know you're heavy-handed as well.
Yeah.
Is it? Timing always beats speed, beats brawling, doesn't it? And I
definitely.
And I wonder whether you seem like you want to really enjoy the moment in a sense. And I don't mean that in a masochistic way, but in a way that if you stay calm, you've got the tools to be able to do it in the exchanges.
Yeah, definitely. If I showed that in my last fight with Leslie.
Yes.
It's just a matter of hitting and moving and waiting for opportunity. Not every punch, as my coaches say to me, not every punch has to be a hard punch. So it's just hitting and moving and setting your punches up. And obviously everyone knows that boxing is my background, and obviously be relying heavily on that in this fight too. I feel like my boxing craft is more dominant than hers. Hopefully it'll show.
Happy boxing and moving on Thursday night. I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Connor?
Hey Arlene, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. Just from like your social media, I mean, it seems like you've really been enjoying the whole process of fight week and the lead up to the fight. Is this any different approach from the last time you had a Bellator fight? Just trying to maybe enjoy that process a little more.
It's something that we've focused on a little bit more, in the last year or so. I suppose it's always been a year since I fought now anyway. It's just about enjoying it. It's no secret I'm getting called a grandma on social media. Bellator has some terrible, horrible fans with their comments, but, the soccer mum, this and that. It's no secret. I'm 37 years old. So, I don't say I'm at the end of my career, but I'm definitely at the peak of my career. But, in the coming years, I will be slowing up and, finishing my career. So it's these moments like, far out, I'm fighting for the Bellator world title against Cris Cyborg. That's huge. So why am I not enjoying it? So I'm lucky that, my partner's super supportive, and he's just, through the grueling part to fight camp where I'm sore and tired, early mornings, late nights, this and that. He's like, enjoy this part. And I have. So for the most part, enjoying being in the gym with my training partners and, them helping me and pushing me, because, in 10 years time, I won't have that. I'll look back and go, I remember the days when I did this, or remember the days that flew over to America and fought for Bellator and had, the whole world watching me. So yeah, why am I not here enjoying it? So yeah, obviously it's a big fight. There's a lot of there's a lot of pressure there, this and that, but this is what I do. I'm a fighter, and I'm here. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, Arlene.
Hey, Arlene. So Cyborg's been pretty much carrying the torch for female featherweight since before you even made your pro MMA debut. Yep. So is it fair to say that you've had your eye on this particular fight for your entire career? And if so, how does it feel now the moment's finally come?
For sure. I remember watching Cris. It was her return to the cage after her suspension. She fought another Australian girl, Fiona Muxlow, in the Invicta cage. And I'm pretty sure this is the same card that Rose Namajunas fought. She did the flying armbar. I might have to, don't quote me on that. But I just remember watching these girls. So I was actually in camp, and it was a week out from my first MMA fight, my first ever MMA fight, which was a professional fight because I was already a professional boxer. And these girls came in, and then Cris fought, and I was just like, wow. She just blew me away because I thought she was just aggressive and she was dominant and she was everything that I wanted to be in the cage. She's been at the top of the ranks ever since. And every fighter should be obviously aiming to fight the best, and she's always been there in my sights. And I've just been climbing those ranks. And to be able to sit here and fight her on the Bellator promotion for the Bellator world title means a lot. And I'm just glad that's happening here. Obviously, the fact that she came over from the UFC, I'm stoked that I feel like she's come to my grounds because I've been here now for almost 6 years, signed with Bellator. This has been my home for a long time now, and this is where my home will continue to be, and I'll be staying here until the end of my career.
And as you alluded to earlier, you come from a pro boxing background, and I know MMA is a very different sport, but Cyborg is obviously an accomplished striker in her own right. How do you think your stand-up matches up with hers?
I think my boxing, my hands, like a more precise. Speed, obviously. I think I've got more technically faster hands and more precision. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in there. You don't have to hit someone hard with those 4-ounce gloves. So hopefully on Thursday night I can demonstrate how good my boxing hands are. Hit and don't be hit, as they say.
Mark?
Thank you, Arlene. I mean, I've been covering you since early in your career, and just to see your career kind of blossom, as it were. You had a little bit of a rocky start there for the beginning, but it seems like you're really coming into your own right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the personal growth that you've had as a fighter from the beginnings of MMA to now?
Yeah, definitely. So I started MMA as a side sport to my pro boxing career. I was a world title holder for boxing and wasn't getting any opponents, so I started doing MMA as a side sport, and copped a few losses because I had no wrestling background, no BJJ background or anything like that. So in my first year, I'd had 8 fights, and it was super busy. So was learning on the trot, and unfortunately, like I said before, I didn't have an amateur background, so my losses were going on my record. So up until I was signed with Bellator, I was actually taking it as a side sport. And when I got signed to Bellator, my record was 5-4. So, and that's another reason why I have been so loyal to the Bellator promotion, was because they gave me that shot and that opportunity on the world stage when these other big promotions, another big promotion in particular, wouldn't give me a shot. And that's why they deserve my loyalty, because I've sat here and I've worked hard over the last 6 years, and I've fixed that record. Just obviously turned my side sport into my main sport and got serious with it and concentrated on fixing my weaknesses, which was obviously my wrestling and my BJJ. And I feel like I'm a very well-rounded fighter now, and that's showing. And that's why my record has obviously improved to 13-7.
Now, you've been with Julia Budd for 2 5-rounders, and both of them were really close fights. How's that helping you out? Because I don't think a lot of people are realizing that you've had that experience in a title fight. How's that helping you prepare for the Cyborg fight?
Oh, well, that's it. Julia was a world champion and a dominant world champion for a very long time, up until obviously she just lost at the beginning of the year. So the fact that I went 5 rounds with her, and it was a split decision, so it was super close. And she's a strong, athletic fighter, so that I take a lot of comfort in that, knowing that what I did in that fight camp in preparation for it compared to what I've done for this fight camp is chalk and cheese. So I know that I'm more than ready to go 5 rounds at with Cris if it goes to that.
We'll take a few more questions here. Lenny March.
How's it going, Arlene?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so you're fighting without a crowd this Thursday. If this is the first for you, how do you think you will feel this Thursday, sorry?
Well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. I'm just sort of taking it. I think for the most part, it will affect Cris more than it will me. She's used to fighting in big crowds and, obviously having a big fan base and this and that. So, if anything, it's probably going to benefit me because I'll be able to hear my coaches clearer and, not have random comments in the crowd that might, get into my head. I seem to always manage to hear the few comments that will be like, oh, she's hurt or something. And I think to myself, no, I'm not hurt. But just silly, that which might take my focus away from the fight. So at least I'll just be completely focused on Cris, hearing my corners' voices and, getting that job done and, going home and celebrating with my family and friends when I'm out of quarantine in Australia.
Yeah, you said that earlier that she's going to tire in the later rounds. That kind of stood out to me because it felt like you wanted to maybe take the fight to the championship rounds. Is that what you're going to try and do this Thursday?
Well, it's always risky to do that too because, if you're sort of holding out waiting for the championship rounds, you've got to make sure that you're also sort of on top for the first 3 rounds. I don't want to be chasing tail in the 4th and 5th. So, it's hard to say. Like I said before, it's MMA. the pace might be set early. It might be a fast pace. It might be a slow pace. It's and Cris will be well prepared for everything too, just as I am. So I guess we'll just see on Thursday night what happens.
Thank you so much for the time, Arlene. Good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.